Hi, I'm Jake Ferree, and this is Yo 30 for Xbox Fitness. Joining us today, we have Mike, and we also have Jenny over here. Jenny's going to be the modifier through this program. Be sure to follow Jenny for modifications throughout the sequences. All right, on that note, let's get started. Place your hands center to your heart. You're going to come into a seated position. If at any moment you feel like it's a little bit uncomfortable, you can always take a block and sit underneath it. Hands come to the heart. Close the eyes down. Thumbs towards the chest. Start taking the time here to connect to the breath and to connect to the body. Take a big inhale into the nose, breathing all the way up into the chest, and hold the breath to the top. Holding the breath here for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, open the mouth, let it go. Ha. Good, let's do that one more time. Big inhale into the nose, breathe all the way up into the chest, hold that breath. Holding here for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, open the mouth, let it go. Ah. Just pausing here. You're going to come into what's called Ujjayi breath. So with the Ujjayi breath, we want to be activating the deep whisper muscles in the back of the throat. Sounds a little bit like it's actually called whisper muscles because it's the same muscles you use when you whisper. So it's a bit of a deepening breath throughout the back of the throat. You should hear a little bit of a kind of like a hissing noise as you breathe in. So just keep that in mind. Most importantly, though, you want to be focusing on breathing throughout the practice. So as long as you're breathing, that's going to be the step. But as we start progressing and keep going on, you want to be able to hear that bit of that hissing noise in the back of your throat. When we talk about the basics, which is what this program is today, I want you to be focusing on the form and being aware of how to position things throughout the practice, because it's this practice, this Yo 30 practice, that's going to be able to give you those building blocks for the rest of the practices that we're going to be doing throughout the Yo 30 program. Okay. Blink the eyes open. Raise the arms to the sky. And keep the arms lifted. Can you create a bit more length and extension throughout the spine? Allow yourself to sit a little bit taller. Another big inhale. Exhale, start to twist over to the right. Right hand goes behind you as the left arm goes to the outside of that right thigh. You're going to use that hand that's on your thigh as a little bit of helper. It's pressing against the thigh to create a deeper twist. Each inhale, create a bit more length. And then each exhale, create a deeper twist. Throughout the twisting, we're actually able to massage out the internal organs and also detoxify the body. Next, inhale, raise the arms to the sky. Both arms lift, lengthen. As you exhale, let's take the twist the opposite way. Good. With the hand that's positioned on the thigh, can you press into it to help twist the torso a little bit more? Again, each inhale, can you breathe into the chest to lengthen? Each exhale you take, can you allow your body to twist a little bit deeper? Relaxing the shoulders. And also noticing how the breath, as it moves through the body, how it can help you move through the poses. Again, each inhale creates a bit more length. Each exhale creates a deeper twist. Inhale back to center, raise the arms to the sky. And as you exhale, it's going to lean over towards the side. Right hand comes down as the left arm reaches up and over. Side body becomes a little bit longer as you start to extend. Feel free to stay here, or you can start to put a little bend in that elbow, the right elbow, bringing that forearm possibly down towards the floor, but let's keep that opposite butt pressing into the ground. Maybe start to take a gaze up towards the ceiling. But throughout the practice today, I'm going to be offering up a whole lot of modifications, so you're going to be able to choose which one works best for your body. But when it really comes down to it, again, it's just how well you can listen to yourself, listen to the body. How does it respond to the poses? Inhale back to center, raise the arms. As you exhale, let's take that lean the opposite way. Hand comes down as the other arm reaches up and over. Let's relax that shoulder so it's not jamming up by the ear. And then start to possibly bend the elbow, possibly bringing the forearm down to the floor, lengthening throughout the entire side body. In fact, can you even start to direct the breath in towards the side body so you're expanding as you breathe in? Inhale back to center, raise both arms up. And as you exhale, we're going to go ahead and reach the hands over towards the side and then work your way into all fours, coming into hands and knees. As you're here in all fours, you have the elbows and shoulders over the wrists. You have the knees underneath the hips. You're going to dip the lower back and start to raise the sit bones high towards the sky and just start to take your gaze forward. Good. As you're here, press through with the hands. Try to keep pulling the sit bones up towards the sky. Exhale, round and tuck, coming to what's called cat back. You're pulling the belly in towards the spine and pressing through with the hands. I want you to pause here for a few breaths and focus on that full extension throughout the upper back. Scapulars are spreading wide, so you can actually get a bit of a stretch here in the upper back as we press through with the hands. Now let's connect with the breath, trying to get each movement to last as long as the breath itself. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the butt, cow pose. Exhale, round and tuck, coming into your cat. And again, inhale, lift the chest, lift the butt, cow pose. Exhale, round and tuck, coming into your cat. One more, inhale, lift the chest, lift the butt, cow pose. Exhale, round and tuck, coming into your cat. Nice, guys. Let's find a flat back. From that flat back, I want you to raise the right arm to the sky. So the right arm is going to start to lift up. And we're going to take the right arm, we're going to thread it underneath the left arm, so underneath the arm that's towards the TV, bringing that shoulder down towards the floor. You're going to press down with that front hand to help spin the chest open a little bit more. So you should actually feel a little bit of a twist here throughout the spine. And then have a focus like you're trying to pull the hip back a little bit more. Good. Few more breaths here, allowing that breath again to come into the chest. And then as you exhale, allowing your body to spin open a little bit more. Good, you're gonna press down with that forward hand and come back to all fours. Good, now that you're on all fours, the hand that's towards the TV, I want you to raise that up towards the sky. And then you're gonna thread it underneath the opposite arm, coming down to the shoulder and the ear. So as we're here, we can start to see this side of the body, it starts to kind of twist a little bit. So we're gonna find that bit of a twist here throughout the spine. Pressing down with the hand that's on the floor to help twist the body up a little bit more. Pausing here for a few breaths. Again, taking that breath and allowing your body to twist a little bit more with each exhale that you take. Good, guys. Come back to center, working your way back to all fours. From all fours, walk your way into plank pose. Good. Jenny's going to keep the modification here in plank and stay on her knees. So knees are going to be on the floor if you need to modify. Still positioning the hands and the elbows right underneath the shoulders. Mike has his knees off the ground, finding some engagement here in his belly and in his thighs. Shoulders are pointing down the back, abs stay tight. Can you try to keep the hips the same height as the shoulders? So keeping that in mind as we start to flow through this practice. Bend the elbows and lower down halfway with what's called chaturanga. Jenny's keeping the modification by staying on her knees. You're going to stay here for a few breaths, trying to find a little bit more strength here within the triceps and the arms. Belly stays tight. Good, guys. Straighten out the arms. Good. Let's do that again. Bend the elbows, lower halfway, chaturanga. Pause here in this pose. Belly stays tight. Thighs are off the floor. Good. Straighten out the arms. Good. In this next one, you're going to lower all the way down the ground. Bend the elbows, lower chest to the floor. Hips to the ground. Releasing the tuck of the toes. Good. Your hands are going to be positioned basically right underneath the shoulders. Press down with the hands. Start to rotate the shoulder heads up and come into what's called baby cobra. With baby cobra, we're finding a little bit of engagement here in the lower back, but then also finding a bit of a stretch happening here throughout the shoulders. Chest is lifting a little bit, trying to engage the lower back to actually lift the chest versus pressing down with the hands. We're going to keep Jenny here. This is going to be the modification throughout the sequence here today. I'm going to have Mike straighten his arms out completely, coming into what's called upward facing dog. Arms are straight, chest is pulling forward, shoulders are pointing back. If you notice here with Mike, he has his knees and his thighs off of the floor, pressing down so much with the tops of your feet, finding engagement here throughout the quadriceps. Good, guys, tuck the toes, press back, downward facing dog. And now we're going to bring all of that together, going through what's called the vinyasa. Inhale, slowly shift forward to plank pose. Good, modifying as needed. Exhale to lower, chaturanga, bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale to press back, downward facing dog. Staying here in downward dog. Few things to think about within your dog. You're pressing down with the hands and trying to create a bit of an angle here at the arms. So the shoulders are actually pulling far away from the wrist. Lengthening throughout the spine. Sit bones are finding a lift up towards the sky, and the heels are lowering down towards the floor. Cool thing that's happening within this pose is we get to stretch out the calves, we get to stretch out the back part of the legs, we get to lengthen the entire spine. Depending how your body is feeling, you're going to notice Jenny has a little bit of bend here in the knees. So if you're really tight throughout the hamstrings, that's going to help a little bit. So keep that in mind throughout our flow today. Nice, guys. Inhale, bends the knees. Exhale, either step or jump. Bring in the feet towards the front of the mat. Good. Jenny's going to modify this by bringing her hands to her shins. Inhale, flat back. Pause here in the flat back. Mike has his hands off of his shin. So again, find where your body works with this, but ideally we want to try to be flattening out the back to find more length. Exhale, fold forward, chest towards thighs. Let's do that again. Inhale, flat back, halfway rise. Good. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, raise the arms up, stand all the way up, reaching tall as you bring the arms to the sky. And then exhale, hands slowly come center to the heart. Good. Moving together here in what's called Surya Namaskar A, sun salutations. So the basics behind Surya A is we want to be able to connect each movement with each breath that we take. So keeping that in mind as we start to flow, as we connect pose into pose. And start at the heart. Inhale, raise the arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, chest lowers to the thighs, bending the knees if needed. Inhale, find a flat back, lift just halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, either step back or jump back. Lower right into chaturanga as you bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog, chest forward as the shoulders rotate back. Exhale, press back, downward dog. Yogis, keeping in mind here the entire time that you can always modify by following Jenny. Inhale, bends the knees, look forward. Exhale, step or jump, feet come towards the front of the mat. Inhale, find your flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, raise the arms all the way up. Stand tall as you reach high. Exhale, fold forward, chest lowers down towards the thighs. Inhale, find your flat back, lift just halfway. Exhale, plant the palm, step or jump back, chaturanga. Inhale your way into upward dog or baby cobra for the modification. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Good. From downward dog, inhale, bends the knees. Exhale, step or float, feet come forward. Inhale, find your flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, raise the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands come center to the heart, still connecting with the breath. Inhale, raise the arms, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward, chest lowers down towards the thighs. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the palm, step or jump back, chaturanga. Inhale your way into upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Pausing here in your dog. And you do what's called pedaling out the feet. So you're going to bend one knee, straighten it out, bend the other knee, straighten out. Now do that back and forth. Just feeling that work the body here a little bit, just loosening things up a bit. And then coming into a few of the basic poses here within the sequence. Inhale, raise the right leg to the sky. As the right leg lifts to the sky, you want to make sure that the hip is still squared off. So the pinky toe of that foot is pointing down towards the floor. As you exhale, step the right foot between the hands. You're going to notice Jenny doesn't quite get her foot all the way up there, so she places her hand on her foot to lift it forward a little bit. Back foot is going to spin flat. Your alignment here at this pose is heel to heel, or even a little bit further if you already know that you're going to be a little bit off balance. So keeping aware of that aspect. Come to your fingertips, engage the belly. Inhale, raise both arms to the sky. And as the arms are lifted here to the sky, we want to try to get our shoulders over our hips. Arms are reaching towards the back of the room. We're pressing down a lot with that back foot and trying to keep the back leg completely straight. Hips are trying to square forward, so this back thigh, you actually want it to try to get the point forward. You're going to feel that stretch throughout the entire quadricep. And you're even finding more length and extension throughout the spine, possibly arching back a little bit. Belly stays active. We're not only stretching out that back part of that leg, but we're also working this front part of the front leg. Good, guys. Another inhale. Exhale, open up to what's called Warrior 2. Arms are open out to the side. When the arms are open out to the side, we're relaxing the shoulders. Our gaze is forward. Front knee is strongly bent, having the knee position right over the ankle, having the back foot flat, and back leg is still straight. Your hips here on this one should be pointing open towards the TV. Another thing to notice here is when we came into the pose, we kind of heel-toed our front foot a little bit over towards the TV. What we're trying to get out of that is we want the heel to be in line with the back arch. So there is a slight bit of movement situated with that front foot when we transition from Warrior 1 to Warrior 2. Keep that in mind, guys, as you start to practice here. Begin to straighten out the front leg. Keep the front leg straight. Now you're going to hinge forward. Start to reach forward as far as you can. Jenny has that block close by because she's going to need it here for this one in a second. Good. And then we're going to release that bottom hand down towards the shin as the top arm raises to the sky. Again, your modifications at home is to use that block and go ahead and place your hands on that. So keep that in mind. Arms are stacked. Fingers are raising up towards the sky, trying to lengthen throughout the entire side body. So you should actually feel a whole lot of stretch happening in the legs and a whole lot of stretch happening throughout the sides of the body. Good. Start deepening the breath. Pausing here, holding the breath for a few more counts. So a triangle pose, I now want you to start to rebend the front knee, coming into side angle pose. So we have a big bend on the front knee, hand is on the floor. Unless you need to modify, Jenny's keeping her hand on the block. Another modification that you can do here, instead of having your hand on the block, you can bring that forearm onto the thigh. Watch out for the shoulder, it kind of wants to creep by the ear. So pull that away from the ear as the hand keeps raising up towards the ceiling. Good, trying to have this more extension of space happening throughout the entire side body. Now let's come into extended side angle, where you take that top arm and start to reach it forward as far as you possibly can. As you do that, you're grounding down with the back leg, and we have a nice long line of extension that goes all the way through the pinky side edge of the back foot, all the way through the fingertips. Belly still stays engaged. Good, guys, stick with me here. Next, inhale, reverse the warrior. Leg position stays the same. Back arm reaches down the back thigh as the top arm starts to reach up and over. Still maintaining that big, strong bend in the front knee as you keep lengthening throughout that entire side body. Looking good. Another big inhale. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. Good, and we're going to walk our hands towards the TV wall and then walk to face the other foot. Once you're facing the other foot, I want you to step that foot back, and we're going to move through a vinyasa. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra for the modification. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. One thing that you're going to notice a little bit different here throughout the Yo 30 programming is this bit of a switcheroo action that we have going on. The reason behind that is because it's going to be a lot better for the system to pick you up and to be able to respond to your actions on the TV. So keep that in mind, guys. Left side action here. Inhale, raise the left leg to the sky. Exhale, steps the left foot forward. Back foot is going to spin flat here, lining ourselves up for warrior one. So again, heel to heel alignment is what we're focusing on. The back heel, if you can notice, is actually a little further back than that pinky toe, so it's at a bit of an angle. That makes it easier to square off the hips. Good, raise both arms to the sky, coming up into your warrior one. Again, with warrior one, we want to find this focus on stacking the shoulders over the hips and then exploring the pose a little bit more. Our big exploring of the pose is pulling the arms back a little bit further, maybe even taking your gaze up towards the sky. Cool things that are happening in this pose, we got a big stretch happening throughout the front thigh, and we have a lot of activation work happening in this front leg. Nice, guys, another big inhale. Exhale, open it up, warrior two. So hips are opening side. Notice the placement of the foot. It kind of sneaks a little bit over towards the TV. Alignment now is heel to back arch. Full strong extension throughout the arms. Chest is lifted, trying to breathe into the heart. Face is relaxed, or at least calm. We want to get rid of that serious yoga face and allow yourself to be a friendly yogi. Keeping that bend. Deepen the breath. Next, inhale, straighten out the front leg. We're going to keep the front leg straight, and then also want to be flexing the thighs. So there's activation happening in that leg. Jenny's getting her block already set up. Perfect. Start to reach the arms forward, extend, and then you're going to release that bottom hand towards the shin as the top arm raises straight up to the sky. Finding this alignment, stacking the elbows, the shoulders, all on top of each other. Jenny has her modification by using that block here, so keeping in mind that block is there for you guys when you need it. Shoulders are pulling down the back. Spine is getting a little bit longer. Back leg is straight. Breath is still deepening. Can you still find that Ujjayi breath? It's so important here. Good. Let's start to rebend that front knee, coming into side angle pose. Jenny has her hand on the block. Or another modification for you that's there is the forearm on the thigh. Other knee, down with the back leg. Back leg is still straight. Chest is still opening to the side. Arm is up, gazing up. Good, now let's extend this pose. We're going to take the top arm and start to reach it forward as far as you can. Once you do that, you're going to feel things happen a little bit different here. The whole side body becomes a little bit longer, and the stretch gets a lot more intense throughout this side body. Another thing to be thinking about here is we want to be trying to spin that chest open a little bit more. Leg position is going to stay exactly the same, so really find that engagement. Inhale, reverse the warrior, arching all the way up and back. Shoulders are rotating back. Body is lengthening. Another important thing to keep in mind with the reverse warrior is it's a side body stretch. It's not a back bend, which sometimes people do on this one by turning the chest to the sky. We want to be keeping the chest facing the TV. Still keeping that front leg strongly bent. Another inhale. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. We're gonna walk those hands back towards the front, coming into that switcheroo. Step it back, and we're gonna move through that vinyasa. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale your way into upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale to press back, downward facing dog. Good, guys. Pausing in downward dog. Pressing down with the hands, pulling the chest back towards the thighs. You should actually feel a bit of an effect as if somebody is pressing on your back, pulling your chest back a little bit further. It's getting the stretch there a little bit deeper into the hamstrings and the calves. Again, that little bend in the knees is there for you if needed. Moving right along here. Inhale, bends the knees. Exhale, either step or jump, bringing the feet towards the front of the mat. Inhale, find a flat back, lift just halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, raise the arms all the way to the sky. Create some length here as you lift the arms up. And then exhale, hands slowly come center to the heart. I'm going to have Jenny take her feet and spread them about hip width apart. Mike's going to keep his feet together. Inhale, sit low, chair pose. You're going to bend the knees and raise the arms. If you take your gaze down for a moment, you should be able to notice that you can see all 10 of your toes. If you can't see them all, you got to pull that butt back a little bit further so the knees will go back a little bit more. Your weight in this pose is positioned on your heels. Your chest is puffed up and the arms are reaching up towards the sky. Your gaze is forward here. This is a tough pose. We're going to be here for a bit, so if your body gets a little bit shaky, stay in it anyways. See if you can sit down a little bit lower. There you go. Find that challenge. Puff the chest up. Still working on our personal best here throughout the sequence. Another big inhale. Exhale, fold forward, lowering the chest down towards the thighs. As you take your next inhale, find a flat back, lift just halfway. As you exhale, you're going to keep the foot that's towards the TV there, but step the other foot back. Good. Stay on your fingertips here for a moment. Release the back knee down to the floor. Engage the belly. Raise the arms to the sky. Come into what's called Anjaneyasana. Okay, as you're here, I want you to be able to focus on keeping that big bend on the front knee, but you want to make sure that that knee is positioned right over the ankle. So Mike can actually take his foot and bring it forward just about another inch so the ankle and the knee are right in line. As he does that, he's pulling his hips forward, so the stretch is going to be happening here on that back thigh. So keep that in mind. Can you deepen the breath a little bit more as you're here? Good. Another big inhale. Exhale, begin to bend the elbows and start to arch back a little bit more. As you start to bend the elbows here and arch back, your chest is opening up towards the sky. So we're actually getting a little bit of stretch here throughout the chest. If you're feeling any pressure on the knee, which sometimes happens, you can always press down more at those back toes to help alleviate some of that pressure. So just be aware of your body and modify, make adjustments here as you need to. Inhale, raise the arms all the way back up. Good, now as you exhale, release the hands down to the floor. You're going to keep the fingertips on the floor, but start to come off of that back knee. So back knee comes off the ground, back leg is active. Good. Inhale, raise the arms to the sky. I'm going to have Jenny modify this and have her hands on her thighs. We're still going to see if we can keep that knee off the ground, but if it happens to come to it where you got to lower that knee to the ground, so be it. This is your practice, and that's what's so great about yoga is it's yours, and it's a practice, so there's always something that we can play with here. Can you arch back a little bit further? Can you explore a little bit more out of the pose? Another great thing that's happening with this one is that big stretch in that back leg. Another big inhale, let's fill it up. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. You're going to take that back leg and start to raise it to the sky, coming into what's called standing splits. What tends to happen for a lot of us in standing splits is we tend to open up that hip. Keep the hip closed off. So if you look back, you should be able to see that pinky toe pointing to the floor. And then you explore a little bit more. Can you raise the leg a little bit higher? Good. Now, just to play with this a little bit, possibly grab onto that bottom ankle with one hand or both hands. As you do that, you're going to notice the balance is going to be a little bit off. That's normal. Just get yourself back into it. Fingertips lower down to the floor. That top leg steps all the way back. And we're going to create that little switcheroo. This time you're walking towards the back of the room, all the way towards the front foot. Now the front foot steps all the way back to plank pose. Moving through our vinyasa, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog like Mike or baby cobra like Jen. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog. Good. From downward dog, big inhale into the nose. Exhale, bend the knees, step or jump forward, bringing yourself into a forward fold. Inhale, sit low, chair pose. Good. From chair pose, we're going to pause here for a moment. Can you sit down a little bit lower? Mike's showing off his butt there. We want to cover that up. Good. Can you sit down a little bit lower? Puff the chest up. Raise the arms up a little bit higher. Another big inhale. Exhale, fold forward, chest lowers down to your thighs. Legs are straightening out. Again, your slight modification, if needed, is to keep a little bend in the knees. Inhale, flat back. As you exhale, you're going to step that opposite foot back, so the foot towards the TV stays there, but the other leg steps back. Knee comes down to the floor, arms raised to the sky. Good. Can you start to reach back a little bit more? What more can we find out of these poses? Which is, like I said, it's so great about yoga is there's no end to any pose we come into. There's always this constant exploration, which keeps you always active within the pose. You never get bored. You're always finding something new, exploring something new. One more inhale. Good. So from here, can you arch back just a little bit more? Puff the chest up. Another inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows, arch back, heart opens. Feeling that stretch going a little bit deeper into the chest. Hips keep pulling forward. Relax the face, but keep breathing, guys. Inhale, raise the arms all the way up. Exhale, release the hands back down to the floor. Fingertips stay on the floor. Back knee now comes off the floor, engaging that back leg, feeling that stretch going a little bit deeper in the quad. You should be able to feel some activation here happening in the legs, so you don't really need the hands there. You're using your body here to help support you. Inhale, raise the arms to the sky, coming into crescent pose. Your modification, like Jenny's going to be doing here in a second, is placing your hands onto her thigh. If your hands are on your thigh, guys, you want to be pressing into it to help lift the chest and shoulders pull back. Good. Even pull the shoulders back a little bit more here if you can. Good. Mike's exploring a bit more, probably possibly reaching his hands towards the back of the room a bit more. Good. Another inhale. Exhale, release the hands down to the floor. The back leg raises to the sky, coming into your standing splits. Your modification here is you can start to put a little bend in that front knee if needed, but let's keep that back leg lifted. Keep the back toes pointing down towards the floor. Not the easiest pose to be staying in, but stay in it, guys. You got this. If you want to play with the challenge here a little bit more, you're going to grab onto the ankle, maybe with just one hand, maybe with both hands. You're going to notice the balance may start to shift a little bit, but can you just get yourself right back into it? Good. Hands come down to the floor. Step the back foot all the way back into a lunge. We're going to switcheroo, walk towards the back of the room until you're back towards the front foot. That foot steps back, and then we lower through a vinyasa, chaturanga, into upward dog or baby cobra. Exhale to press you on back, downward facing dog. Staying in downward dog. Good, guys. From downward dog, just slowly release your knees down to the floor. Once your knees are down to the floor, you're just going to go ahead and sit your butt away from the TV and then extend the legs forward as the head is going to be back. Come all the way down to your back. Just go ahead and relax down. Good. Now that you're down, don't get too relaxed. I'm going to need you to bend the knees. Good. Walk your feet a little bit closer to your butt. We're going to have the feet about hip width apart. And now press down with the feet and start to raise the hips up. Good. Let's keep the hips lifted. Jenny's going to modify this pose a little bit. I'll help her out by grabbing the block. So keep that block nearby. Block goes right underneath your back. Good. Mike's going to interlock his hands behind his back. And then start to squeeze the shoulders closer together. So what tends to happen is the shoulders kind of want to round forward a bit. We want to be getting those underneath the body. So you got to kind of shimmy them around there a little bit. Hips are pulling up to the sky. The interlock behind the back, your palms are trying to touch together, and you're trying to fully extend the arms and press the hands into the floor. So keep that in mind, guys, as you're here. Chin pulls away from the chest, but the chest starts to pull back towards the chin. Hips keep raising up super high, pressing down with the feet. Good. Release the lock of the hands if they're there, and then just lower the hips down to the floor. Jenny's going to remove the block. Good. We're going to come right back up into one more. Press down with the feet, raise the hips up. Mike's going to interlock his hands. Jenny's going to put that block on a higher level here, so that option's there for you. Another option here is going to be full wheel. So if you're coming into full wheel, Mike will show us here. He's going to release the lock of the hands. Hands come by the shoulders. He's going to press down with his hands and start to extend the arms. Full wheel is pretty great because you get a bigger stretch here throughout the belly. We're also opening up the chest just like we're doing here in our bridge pose and alleviating any pressure on the spine. Hips keep pulling up to the sky. Good, guys. If you're in the full wheel, tuck your chin towards your chest before you lower down. Good. Jenny can remove the block. Hips come all the way down to the floor. And then slowly just extend the legs forward. And once the legs are extended forward, pull your right knee towards your chest. So that foot that's away from the TV, you're going to pull that in. And then just go ahead and drop it towards the TV. That opposite arm is extended out to the side, so both shoulders are on the floor. Good. Deepening the breath a little bit more. Inhales and exhales become a little bit longer. Breathing all the way up into the chest, allowing the chest to expand. And using that exhale to allow the body to just relax a little bit more. Good. Let's bring that leg back to center. And And then we're going to hug the knee that's towards the TV in towards the chest, give it a big squeeze, and then take that leg away from the TV to find the twist. Both shoulders are on the floor. Breath is deepening. Again, can you breathe into the chest, allowing the chest to expand and open as you breathe, and then allowing your body to just relax a little bit more as you exhale. From this position, I want you to bring both knees into your chest and curl yourself into a tiny little ball. So you're wrapping the arms around the legs, you're pulling the chin towards the chest, and you're pulling your forehead towards the knees. Take a big inhale through the nose. You're gonna hold the breath. I want you to hold it here for the next 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale to release. Mike and Jen are gonna come into Shavasana, so they're gonna extend the legs forward, extend the arms forward, palms face up. You can choose to come into your Shavasana, or you can join me in a seated meditation. If you're meditating with me, your knees are going to be crossed. Hands are going to be facing up on your thighs. Palms face up. Eyes are closed. Everybody can just close the eyes down. And start to relax. Let the entire body just melt into the floor. Shavasana means corpse pose. To me, I think of Shavasana more as, I think of it more as a cocoon pose. As if throughout our practice, we kind of live this life as a caterpillar. And now we're in that cocoon. We're metamorphosizing. We're allowing the effects of our practice to take effect. And we don't have to do anything because we've already done it. Now we just let it all sink in. We let our body metamorphosize. We allow the effects of the practice to sink in. As you're laying here, just start to deepen the breath. Allow your inhales and exhales to become a little bit longer. Sending that breath through the body as if we're waking up parts of the body that may be asleep. Bringing more life and energy into you. Begin to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. If you're staying seated, just stay here. But if you're on your back, reach the arms up and over the head. As the arms are up and over the head, you're finding a deeper stretch. If you're waking up here for the first time, because quite possibly, maybe you are, bring the knees into your chest. And then gently roll over to the side, rolling over towards the TV. This position here is called fetal pose, or fetal position. In a way, it's a bit of representation of a new beginning. So now is the time that you can let go of anything that's not serving you. Let it go. Press down with the hands and allow yourself to come into a seated pose. Joining me seated, chest is lifted, shoulders are pulled back and relaxed down the back. One of my favorite quotes is, just as the caterpillar thought its life was over, it became the butterfly. And we have that representation here a little bit as we end our practice. Again, thinking of Shavasana not necessarily as a corpse, but thinking it more as that cocoon. We had our metamorphosis. Now we allow ourselves to rise into that butterfly. And bring your palms together at your heart. Thumbs towards the chest. Bow your head forward into your hands. Honor this moment and honor yourself. Thank yourself for deciding to come in and do something healthy and positive for you, for your body, for your mind, and for your spirit. leading you through the practice is my honor. The light within me salutes the light within you. Namaste.